Like, that's my spot right there. I'll be right back for you. But then again, and plus I have a really, really bad, so I had to go yesterday for my eye doctor because I got a really bad, I did also read that.
Yes.
I have a really bad stigmatism. So the glare on certain lights hurt. So these don't have it, but they put the special stuff on. Hopefully it'll come to me. So driving at night, especially when it's raining.
Yes.
Who's that girl with that? She remembered me.
Jasmine.
Yeah.
You got the light skin one?
I don't know. I talked to her on the phone. I called back. She remembered me.
Yeah, that was Jasmine.
All right, good. And hold up. I can see her. Dominic,
Or you wanna
up some.
Mr. Craig, look, Mr. Craig can move and where you at and come from the corner. You can get up. You get the corner.
Oh yeah. This way I had it that down last time. I did.
Y'all live
I
now.
got it. Yep. All right, y'all ready? Before I press that, I need to make sure everybody the sound is right. So y'all gonna put the earphones on if y'all have them.
That's my cord, got it.
One of these guys store it. No, I think it's this one or it might be mine.
I hear a lot of static.
And that one.
It's gone.
It's gone.
That's this.
Yeah. So try to
Not touch
You
it.
can DJ?
touch that.
Bring us in. Bring us in.
He gonna bring us out.
Okay, so
Make sure they can see now.
She waving, Nikki.
okay.
Yeah, I see.
I'm gonna press this button. We're gonna be live now.
Hey,
Excuse me.
I didn't touch that. It's already just. Welcome to the Power 4 Radio Show. I am your host, Carter Chris White. I got a bunch of guests in here today. We're going to have a power-packed show. But first, we're going to bring it in. We're going to pray us in. Then we're going to let the world hear what they need to be hearing uncut about the community. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our trespasses. We forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Lord, as you always do, have your way through these airways and touch the soul that need to be listening right now. In Jesus' name we love you. Amen.
Amen.
So, we're going to start from left to right. Introduce yourself to the world.
Hello. I am Nikki Smith. I'm the CEO and the owner of the Journey Mental Health and Wellness.
And next up, we got
I'm Dominic Holmes. I'm a father, uncle, brother, a big part of my community.
and next we have
And next, I am Rosalind Swan. Everybody knows me as Rochelle the Boss. And I'm in charge of the Blue Goddess LLC.
and last but not least, we got
Oh, my. And Miss Critique, y'all already know. And I'm here with Mr.
Carter Chris White in the building. So we're gonna start from in fact, I woke up the day before yesterday to two powerful texts from Mr. Dominic and Miss Rochelle. It just touched my heart because sometimes you could be doing stuff right and you never know who's watching you or what kind of impact you got on what you're doing. So that's a negative aspect. When I sold drugs, people watched me do that and they thought it was cool to do that. They followed my footsteps. I went to prison. They went to prison. Some ain't here to even talk about even going to prison because they was, they got killed or whatever the case may be. But Nevertheless, y'all know my story. I went away for 19 years straight, pardoned by President Obama, September the 19th of 2016. Now I'm back out here on a new mission now. I love the Joseph story. Joseph was one who, went through prison, went through a lot of different tests and obstacles that was laid for him to become Joseph. So who we are today is our backstory, our testimony. The test we go through gives us our testimony. And the word of God tells me that you're overcome by your testimony. So I don't regret anything I've done. I wouldn't change this. Chris, if you could do it again, would you go do 19 years? I said, yeah, I go do it again because it made me the man I am today. So with that being said, we have the guests who have testimonies and stories, and I'm gonna let them talk. So who would you like to go first? What?
The men first.
Mr. Dominic,
I
take
can
it.
say, like yesterday when we talked, I was thinking like, man, I need to write something down. I don't know where I'm gonna start from. My stories, I can come from anywhere, but I just looked it up. My story, I could say, starts from purpose. You know what I mean? 2013, I lost my mother. When I lost, I was on top of the world. I was a manager, had my own place. 23, a second job. But when she passed, you know what I mean? I lost what I thought my purpose was, making her happy. You know what I mean? I let the job go. I let the place go. The lease was up. And for like 5 years, I was in like a coma, but walking around. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I just wanted people to feel pain. But I told myself, like, I ain't doing this because my mother gone. I'm in control of myself. Mm. But I didn't have no purpose. You know what I mean? I scaled the corporate world, and then in the streets, like, I was having my way, or which I thought I was having my way. Because everything I was doing ultimately came back, just in a different form. But I'd be around my neighborhood. My mom, my mother's side from Westport. And my mother moved us to Park Heights. And then as we got older, when you're young and you growing up, you don't see that your mother and stuff like that get older or whatever. But we kept moving up Ricestown. We ended up at Owens Mills. But every weekend, I would go with my father's side. Right. I'm in Latrobe. I'm in Bruce Manners. I'm in Perkins. I'm in all these different hoods. Then I'll go back home. Right. And I would feel like, dang, why we got it like this out here? Nothing happening. No crime, no nothing. And then I would go back to my father's side on the weekend, and just everything about the streets, it was enticing. Like, damn, they don't got nothing, but they living and living. We out there with the big houses, and nobody talked to each other. But I couldn't understand why so many dope boys, everybody got money, but why everybody still in the projects? That's when I was young. I don't really understand, you know what I mean? So between going to the streets and then wanting to work and show people or prove to other people outside of me that, I ain't just in the streets. I can work. Every job I work, I scaled up to be a manager, a supervisor, a general manager. But at the end of the day, I was unhappy. All my accolades I had, I was still unhappy and miserable. And it wasn't until I went to the streets and I'm drugging and hustling. I'm not bad or down, but like, people start leaving me and stuff like that because what I turned into from the streets. Being around, like, where I'm from and the death and things happening, like, and things happening, I was always confused. Like I said, my story started from purpose. Out of all of the people I met in the city, the county, I didn't meet any purposeful people. People were just working. I got to pay bills. I got to go to work. This is what I got to do. And I didn't know how to explain what I was feeling. You know what I mean? I can fast forward to when I went to treatment in June 19th.
Yeah, tell us that testimony right there.
June 19th. At first, I was embarrassed about this, but, like, I be telling people it's cliche. They be like, "What? Drugs saved my life." I mean, put it together for y'all. I don't believe, like, when you on drugs, I don't believe, say for instance, you got a drug problem, and then you get clean, I don't feel like you're an addict forever. You're an addict while you're using drugs. But on June 19, 2024, I went to Patterson Park. I left the block. My shift was over. You know what I mean? I got a couple dollars in my pocket. Still got a pack on me. And I had took like too many E-pills. I walked out to Patterson Park, paranoid, I'm nervous. I sit on in the middle of the park on this playground. I can talk about that on it.
Yeah.
No, all right. So I get to the playground. Once I get in the middle of the playground, in the middle of the park, I get paranoid. So I'm thinking things on me, you know what I mean? So I'm sitting there. I'm thinking about all the people I lost. I'm thinking about the condition that my family in. I'm thinking about like, dang, I got this knowledge on me, but I can't do nothing with it. I try to take my life. I pulled this gun out that I had with me on a lot of different occasions that if it would have went up, it would have went up. But I tried to pull the trigger like 3 times. Ain't nothing happened. I sit back, I look at the gun.
Oh, that's
It wasn't your
Jesus,
time.
Jesus, God, Holy Spirit. That's 3.
Not your
What?
time.
3 times. 3 times, right? I sit back, I laugh. I'm not even paranoid no more, like nothing on me, the drugs ain't affecting me. I look up, I'm just laughing, like, dang, God, like, why you got me here? You know what I mean? My homeboys you took, I done did more than them. I done led them the wrong way, at least I feel like that, the guilt, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm just like, I just pulled this nigga 3 times, and nothing happened. Boom, it's getting later, it's like 5:36 in the morning. I go up. I'm on what's that? Baltimore Street and Patterson Park. I walk down to Broadway and Lombard. I walk into the Power Recovery. You know what I mean? I walk in there. I see this lady. She got me con. It's Juneteenth. Matter of fact, they was having a party. I'm still under the influence. I'm dancing with the ladies. They're like, all right, come back in here. Come back in here with me. We can finish your paperwork. They got a tab. I'm like, what is this? The house managers came in, but they were wearing regular clothes. Like, they looked like street dudes. So this lady was watching. My name is Gina. She seen me go from laughing with the women to she seen my whole face change when the dudes walked in. Like, you know, every time I'm looking, like, hold up. And she seen me back away. I gotta get up out of here. These dudes look like dudes around Perkins. I know that's knocked down, but hold up, I ain't. You know what I mean? I left. I went out of the county. When my people else, I passed out. When I woke up in the morning, I'm like, man, I gotta go back. I called the lady, Miss Jean. I'm like, hey, I was there yesterday. My name. She said, Dominic. She said, come on, come back.
She called your name?
She knew my name, man.
He's a very memorable person. Because
So-
we did the same thing.
Yeah. So we get back. I get down there. I'm apologizing to her. She's like, no, I've been doing this for a long time, baby. You feel they got pictures of her, paintings in there. That's me. I'm like, okay. So my perspective on treatment was, oh, this for people that, you know, do the dopes and cokes and the alcoholics and stuff like that. But I needed to go in there for mental health. You know what I mean? Because when I would tell people my drug of choice, they would laugh at me. Nah, bro. I would use drugs so I wouldn't feel things. The moment, that's why I say drugs saved my life. The moment the drugs stopped numbing my emotions was when I hit rock bottom, not because of my circumstances. And I was forced to face my problems, the things I didn't know how to deal with. You know what I mean? Just letting go. And letting go is a form of trust. I thought letting go was losing control or losing control. So I couldn't let go of things. Or I wasn't in control of dictating things. I wasn't with it. So I'm in power 30 days. They got you on lockdown for 30 days, blackout. I don't know about no blackout. I'm like, blackout? I'm like, bro, y'all got me at the 7-Eleven I'm behind the 7-Eleven on Baltimore Street and Lombard, and I hustle all up there. So we do little store walks. I'm seeing dudes, and I'd be embarrassed because I'm like, man, a pivotal moment. We going to social services. I'm on a van. We driving past Douglas Homes. I'm wearing my ski mask up because I got bald head, so I wear it folded up. So I'm saying, dudes, while we at the light, I pull it down. And that's how I told me, I'm like, man, that's who I am right now. I'm changing who I am. I fold it back up. It's like waving at me, yeah, bro. Da, 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 da. What I got from Powell was learning how to not let my emotions dictate my behavior. Because I was the one that, I was comfortable with the anger feeling. I was I knew how to do that. I knew how to, if I wasn't getting my way, to get mad and push it to the max. I'm going to win and conquer. But what I learned in power is you can have sympathy and empathy and be kind and be safe at the same time. You know what I mean? Treatment wasn't just about getting off of drugs, it was getting my mind right. I think that a lot of people that do drugs, you start off, just want to relax and have a good time. But then life hits you. You use it to escape life, to escape them feelings. And I learned in power, a lot of street dudes that took the gun or they in position, a lot of the gangsters emotional. A lot of things that I did in the streets, it was because of my emotion. Oh, he pumped me, my ego. Oh, you see how they rolled through here? Bro, we got to get on him. You know what I mean? Well, he said this. He was emotional. I had to really examine. I had to sit with myself. You know what I mean? There's people coming in the program. I used to sell drugs to. When they seen me, they like, damn, Shorty, what you got? I had a mental breakdown because of things in life. Like, I scaled the corporate world. You know what I mean? Was unhappy, did the family thing, all that. I was making out with drugs, and I was unhappy. And I'm like, this can't be what I'm here to do. And I always had, like, a connection with God, but I could say, like, the Holy Spirit that hit me and I get scared, like, you know what I mean? I felt confident, like, the negative and the violence, you know what I mean? Then I had a daughter. I had my daughter, and I'm going, all over the map with my story, but when I had my daughter and she came, I was scared to grab her. I was scared to hold her because I felt like I got blood on my hands. She came, I can't even explain it. But I did grab her. I wouldn't let nobody touch her. Not like I was telling people to get away, but I was just in the zone. Like, I ain't feel his love since my mother passed. Like, the unconditional. Like, you can do anything to me, I'm still gonna love you. But having my daughter, it compromised me on the block, though. You know what I mean? Because I started moving off justification. Like, I ain't gonna do nothing to nobody unless they do nothing to me. As long as I can justify a situation, I looked at it like, God know my heart. I know, you know what I mean?
Right.
But having a daughter, it was just like, she gonna grow up early. She gonna grow up one day and she gonna be looking to me for answers. Or I want to resemble the kind of man that I want her to be with. You know what I mean? She can't get a boyfriend one day and he treating her bad and cheating on her if I'm still womanizing and running around with different women. You know what I mean? So she tightened me up on that aspect. My daughter in June 19th was pivotal moments. But the condition that I was in on the block and on drugs, nobody would hear my story or hear how I felt because it was like, all right, he just saying it because he was high. But when I was a general manager, I was praising me every day. But because I had those accolades, people didn't even care. They looked past it. Fast forward again to June 19th. Or I can even say last week at my nephew's little prom ceremony, when they be walking them out.
Off.
Yeah, like my first time with my family members since I, was getting myself together. And it was like bittersweet because it was like they was happy and they was there, but it took for me to get myself together in their eyes for them to listen to what I had to say. There's a lot of things that's going on in like the inner city that the people that live in those places, like they don't know, they don't got the information to know like this is your circumstances, but it's options out there. You know what I mean? Like Latrobe, you got Latrobe right there, but on Chase and on Carleton and Biddle was a school right there that pay for it. Like this is where I'm gonna go next. They're gonna pay you. They're gonna pay for your school, your tuition and all that. They're gonna give you a job and you go to school, and you ain't gotta worry about being in debt. You know what I mean? It's all these things out here, but there's no what can I say? There's no outlet or platform for people to know. There's a lot of dudes I know, they don't like selling drugs or being in the streets, but they think that's their own way.
You say that one more time.
Well, there's a lot of people that don't like selling drugs or being in the streets. I didn't never sell drugs because I wanted to get money. That sounds crazy. When I was selling drugs, I mean, that was the first thought. Like, I want to get money and get fly, but when you in that world will take care of those getting fly and being in the places to be. You know what I mean? Your rap sheet gonna get you everything you want. You know what I mean? I've never enjoyed none of the drug money I made. It went to the people around me. The things I bought, I ain't really get enjoyed because I'm beating the block up. And then when I would get locked up, the people around me taking it. I had somebody that was addicted to fentanyl, $500 habit a day. I get locked up. I'm fighting 4 attempted murders, 80 grams of fentanyl a gun, and then 30 grams of fentanyl. She drugged out. She sent me a $25 money order every week and coming to all 3 of my visits. I got them charges. Everybody that I was doing these things for, they left. They thought I was done. At first it hurted me, but sitting with myself, but they ain't put me in here. They ain't put me in like I was talking to you. I signed up for Bible study when I was locked up. The first time they called my name, put my name in the Bible study, Dominic Holmes. I got a brother say, hey, you feel me? But laying in my bed, I'm reading Genesis, stuff like that. And I'm reading the lower parts of the Bible. I felt like, who denied Jesus? One of his disciples denied him. What says Peter. I felt like Peter. You know what I mean? So the next time they called me for Bible study, I don't even know what Bible study is. I know it sounds like this, you know what I mean? But I went. When I went in there, the pastor wasn't really getting paid much for doing what he was doing, but he was like, it's an injustice in jails and stuff like that. And I think this is the part of my role I need to play. You know what I mean? The second time I went, I had two brothers come with me that I'm talking about the bullies on the block. They came with me, and we was rocking out. And to the point that I'm like, I start feeling God, and I start understanding like the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, none of them books, I don't care what religion it is, they don't come alive until you have faith, until you believe. Like you could read something, it could be Matthews or any book. I could read it and we get a different interpretation of it, but none of it comes alive until you have faith. I remember being in a project. I'm on Enza and Eager Street, and I see the Mormons too deep. It's like 7 o'clock. It's getting dark. Too deep. Walking in an area hole, whatever. I'm like, man, y'all better get out of here. No, we don't have walk. And it amazed me. I'm like, dang, like in the Bible, you supposed to have faith for the mustard seed. I know they a different fold of religion, but it highlighted something in my mind. When I was 17, I was a manager at a kosher Subway. Wasn't nothing like that in Pikesville. Food cost crazy because we couldn't do $5 for lunch. We sold kosher meat. You know, that's expensive. Kosher meat expensive. I got these big wigs coming in like, we got to push $5 for lunch. It's not cost effective. I'm worried about my food costs and labor. What I'm paying the people, how much we paying for food. But my first experience with God was through the Jewish people. My people told me, oh, the Jews is weird, don't go up Jewtown, What I found out was they moved the way they moved because they looking at us like how we looking at them. So I got with this rabbi. I learned a little bit of Yiddish and Hebrew, helped me get my license, and I learned like, if you take care of them, they're going to take care of you. And I felt God through that religion, not because I was reading a book or going to service with them, but they keep the Sabbath. And on the Sabbath day, they walk to service. They eat meals together. They talk about the week they had, and they plan for the week after. You know what I mean? And that was powerful to me because our family don't sit down no more. Ain't no family dinner. I can go to the Muslims. My man's Muslim, and when I talk about Jesus, he would always, well, he wasn't this and he wasn't that. So I wanted to understand why he had that thought process. So I opened up the Quran and I was reading. And that's how I started out, explaining how it's the only way. And I came back to him, and he really appreciated I took the time to go in there to understand how I felt God in that religion. I didn't join it. I was just, doing my due diligence. Was that discipline? You know what I mean? That's what I lacked, was discipline. The Mormons, the faith, the Jews, the togetherness of family, Muslims, discipline. Jehovah's Witness. They don't spend all this crazy money on holidays. But I'm just keeping it real. But this all put my perspective in and get me to that playground when June 19th when I was doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like something is missing and I'm not being taught, or the people that I'm around don't got what I'm looking for, or they're not aligned, or however you want to put it. They don't got purpose. They going to work, pay bills, pay a mortgage. I've been chasing that, and I'm like, I know I'm not here for that. I've proved to my family I can work and be amazing. I can be a street dude and be amazing, but I ain't had no purpose. Like, what am I going to do? My child gave me purpose. I know now, like, I'm going to be gone one day. I want to leave the world around her a safer place or different. Let me tell you about this. She going to get to the point in school where they get to talking about history and Christopher Columbus and all of that stuff.
Right.
And I know she going to come home, Daddy, we was like slaves and da, 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 da. I don't even know if I would agree with that with her. You know what I mean? Like, well, I don't want to put this. The trauma you get from when you're a young black man in Baltimore City to when you're a man, it starts out when you're in elementary school, bro. I was told, like, yeah, we were slaves, we come from here, we come from that. Have y'all ever been in a room full of like Africans and felt like you weren't black?
Absolutely.
Like you felt like, hey, I'm not even a black man. You know what I mean? I just always had that. Everything goes back to purpose. Everything that happened in my life, good or bad, put me in that playground. Like, I was ashamed to tell that story for a while. You know what I mean? Like, dang, I really tried to do that to myself. But it was because of, I ain't see no way out. I was tired of my people claiming things that they don't have to claim anymore. Like, yeah, I'm black, you know how the white people is, or, you know, we in this place or that place. No, you don't got to claim things that don't serve you. But if you don't look a certain way or if you're in a certain position, people don't want to hear you. So I went to treatment to get my mind right. You know what I mean? Like, it's deep, and it's just like, I want to be the kind of man my daughter wants to be with. And the way I was living, even without the streets, I'm just going to work. I'm working 50, 80 hours a week, going to work, come home. Honey, you cooking dinner, or I'm doing baths, or you doing baths and I'm cooking dinner, do that, fit on the bed, go to sleep, 5 a.m., I'm at work. You know what I mean? And everything good at home. I ain't stressing about bills, but I'm not raising my children. I'm just providing for them. And that was another thing. Like, I don't want to be praised for paying my bills and taking care of my children. I'm supposed to do those things. You know what I mean? It's good that I do it, and thanks for believing in me, honey. But what's my purpose going to be? You know what I mean? What am I going to stand for, and what am I going to change? Because if you just living and pay bills and take trips and giving up on your dreams, it's insanity. That drove me to the playground. I'm like, am I the only person feeling like I need to be doing more? Or maybe I need to change myself, run to my purpose, and hopefully people that look like me, you know what I mean, or from where I'm from, or face the same injustices, they'll follow me. You know what I mean?
Right, so we gonna now. You heard
I
Miss
definitely
Dominique.
want to piggyback.
Now we're gonna go to the journey. Miss Nikki in the building. This is the help, and then we're gonna go to you.
Well, for one, I'm glad I went behind you. You know, that I didn't go first.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta try to keep up.
It's
You know, and so familiar from all the stories that I hear on a daily basis and a lot of things that I see. And unfortunately, for a lot of our youth in this generation, like Dominic and the boys on the block and, you know, the different people, they are not treated as equals. They are not treated as human beings. They are looked at as being feared. So, you know, if you treat an animal like an animal, they're going to be an animal. If you show an animal love, you got to remember behavior is learned. right? So you can unlearn any behavior based on love. That's just what I truly believe. So I think that unfortunately in this, and especially in the city of Baltimore, we are faced with so many different companies like mine that are not in it for the love, right? That are not in it to truly and genuinely touch and change different lives. And, you know, my office is on Pennsylvania Avenue, right? And so somebody asked me, well, why? You know, you could have put your office anywhere and you could have, you know, went there and worked, but why are you there?
Ground zero.
You know, but no, not yet. Not only that is it ground zero, but I'm not afraid of people that I'm choosing to love. So at the end of the day, I tell them I live in Middle River, Maryland, in Baltimore County, and I feel safer walking into my office than I do at home by myself. Because when I pull up, those same young men that I show love to every single day, they knock on my door. Miss Nikki, do you need anything? I'm going to the store. Do you need any help bringing anything out of your car? Somebody walking too close to me, they're like, hey, back up. I mean, you know, no matter what it is they're doing, they stay a certain amount of feet away from my door and respect anybody that's coming in my office based on the respect that I show them. So, you know, I want to base my company on results driven. A lot of people walk the walk and talk the talk, but they don't have that action behind it. And unfortunately for me, it's put me in, you know, the bottom category because I'm up against the people that are only looking for the financial gain of themselves. They don't give back. They don't care. You know, they're out there to do whatever they do. They'll tell you whatever you want to hear when you want to hear it, but then they don't even remember who you are, right? So we base our company. I don't want to be that big. When Dominic we met Dominic at an event. I think it was a few times we were hitting and missing on the phone. When I finally got him on the phone and we talked, and after just listening to him talk, I said, I have an opportunity for you, right? And so I'm waiting to hear back from him about the opportunity, so I had to find him. So when he finally called back, he was surprised then that they knew who he was.
The girl, yeah.
Yeah, at my front desk.
When somebody answered the phone,
Jasmine.
she got my name, and I think the other girl, oh, that's Dominic. She get on the phone, hey, what's going on? She talked to me for a while, and when she wasn't trying to get me, her focus was like trying to come in, be a part of it. I told her my situation. She actually was like, well, I can't do that, but, you know, this, that, and third, this, that, and third.
We don't give false hope. You know, so a lot of these people out here will say, oh, they're like, I'm homeless. I need housing. Yeah, I can move you. I have, you know, you come on in. Once they get that Medicaid information and they get that referral, oh no, there's no housing available.
Authorization.
You know, all those different things. I have people that I met with Chris months ago, you know, that we still help, that we're still waiting, you know, through the process, because sometimes it's hard to get people in, you know, versus what they need. Because for me, you have to show me consistency. Mm-hmm. Don't come to my program just to get the free food that I'm offering you at that moment,
or the
bus pass, right, you know, that I'm giving you at that moment. Because, you know, I give them out, you know, to people because I feel like, you know, if you are homeless, I'll give you a bus pass so you can stay warm in the winter and ride the bus and the trains all night. If you're homeless, I'll give you a bus pass so you can ride the bus and stay cool, you know, and things like that. So I don't look at those types of things, but I had to sit back and say, wait a minute, you know, in order for me to be able to service this demographic and to be able to sustain and survive, you know, I do have to have some kind of income because this is my only source, you know. So if I'm pouring from an empty cup, there's only but so many that I can help. And then my mental, you know, starts to be affected. And if my mental is affected because I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to help people and myself, you know, then everything just, it's like a snowball effect.
You ain't good for nobody.
You know, good for nobody. So listening to his story is just so familiar to me. And it's just very, very unfortunate that he does not always get met with the same love and respect that he did when he met you or when he called our office, somebody that's going to remember him. The little things are what matter, the things that are free, because you don't know what someone is going through. And I can remember, Chris, we did our first event when I showed up at Security Square Mall. There was a lady, and she called Keisha. I still, you know, talk to her.
Her name too.
And I talked to her earlier today. She calls me 3 times a week, and she's still not, you know, approved as my client. However, we walking through life. That's not what it's for. This young lady cussed us out from the rooter to the tutor. And, I almost started to give her the attitude back, right? But then something said, I swear it was like the Holy Spirit spoke to me and it said, Nikki, just be silent. Be still. And I listened. And I looked at this lady's eyes, right? And I just saw pain. So she was walking away and we chased her down. I chased her down and I had to grab her hands. And I said, look at me. Because I wanted her to see that I see her. Because far too often people don't see her. They look at you as a lost cause, or they treat you as if you're beneath them, or as they're giving you something and they're better than you. We have all been there before. I grew up where sometimes my only meal was what I got in school. I grew up being embarrassed to bring people in my house. My dad was a functioning addict, but he went to work every day. But the kids and the drug dealers in the neighborhood, they knew, why? Because I was hustling with them. So at the end of the day, I had to do what I had to do to survive, right? So I understood what it was, right? So my mom and my dad, alcoholics, doing the drugs, all those different things. I remember what it felt like not having shoes. I remember what it felt like not having a toothbrush, not having just the simple things that people wake up to today and not knowing, how to ask for those things. And I can look at some of my family now that I help. And I think back like, well, where were you? Because y'all knew what we were dealing with in our home. You could have stepped up and made a change for us. And you chose not to. And God rest both of my parents' souls because they did the best that they could with what they had, right? However, they were also not educated because in the Black communities, in the Black households, we are not taught to show love. We are not taught to take care of each other, right? We can go hang out at a cookout and eat together, but then when you go home, if your light's out, they don't care, right? And so at the end of the day, you are still on your own, no matter how big your family is or whatever it is. So what I told myself was, there were certain things, instead of being that, there were certain things that I was not going to be. And that's how the journey came to, fruition for me, is because, like he said, have you ever sat in a room full of Africans and not felt Black? Well, unfortunately, in this space, the demographics are Nigerian. I would say about 90% of the companies are Nigerian. And they need people like us to be in the communities because they are not cultured to be in our communities. They're scared. They are not taught to be in our communities. They can't come and get the respect of someone like Dominic that has seen it all, done it all, and been it all. Because at the end of the day, he's looking like, who are you? So if you can't talk to them the way they need to be talked to. And sometimes it's parenting, So I look younger than I am, right? However, when they find out how old I am, it's an automatic respect, and they call me mom, right? So, once they learn that, I can tell them, hey, come here for a minute. Why are you still out here on this corner? Didn't I tell you on Monday to come upstairs so we can go get this job application ready for you? You said you wanted to go, be the firefighter, and I told you which ones were hiring. Well, Miss Nikki, no, I don't want to hear it. Come on with me now. This is not about them having Medicaid. This is not about them seeing a therapist. This is not about me making $1. This is just about me being in the right place at the right time and changing somebody's life. So when they know they're not supposed to be on that block that long and they see me coming, they turn their backs, they try to hide. I'm like, I see you. Come here and help me get this stuff out this car. So some of them, I find out, have lived in bandos. They live in there. They've been on their own since they was about 14, 15 years old. They didn't have that mother figure. So me just showing them that motherly love and giving them just any kind of guidance is just what they're missing. So, with the journey, what I want to, like I said, results driven. And, piggybacking off of what Dominic said is we want to create purpose. Because so many people are walking around walking in somebody else's purpose or not even realizing that they have a purpose. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't be here, right? You are only as big as your last circumstance. And my Bible study, I'm going to send you the link too. I do it every Wednesday with Ashley, every Wednesday. And what the lesson was last night was you are still his daughter. No matter what someone tries to make you out to be, no matter what your past mistakes were, no matter what you plan on doing from the beginning, no matter what you plan on doing in the end, no matter how many lies they can tell on you, no matter how many times they can try to sabotage you, backstab you, and no matter how many times you've done that to somebody, he's kept you here for a purpose, right? And no matter what they say you are his daughter. You are his child. So at the end of the day, you have to walk in his purpose in order to understand yours.
There you
So
go. That's it.
Say that one more
Right.
time.
you know, you have to learn to walk in his purpose in order to understand yours. So they talk about the 2 times. Now I don't want to mix it up because I'm new to the Bible study, right? So it's the micro time and the chronos time, or you know, she's speaking on that. And I felt like God sent her to me to speak to me because I was done wrong recently, right? In my eyes, right? And I always say in my eyes because I cannot dictate how someone else may have been made to feel or whatever. I can only go by my feelings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I started feeling betrayed. I started feeling broken. And I started thinking in my mind, how am I gonna get back? I didn't say anything. I didn't defend myself. I didn't speak up. I didn't do none of these things. And I never understood why, because the old Nikki would have been what? So I didn't understand that it was God let me be still and let me be silent, because that was not my fight to fight. If it was not meant for me, vengeance is his, not mine. I don't have to repay anything. But what I do is I know that I still lead with love. So at the end of the day, we have to pray for people that do those things for us versus wanting to get vengeance, because God will get the vengeance, right? And if these are people that you genuinely love, I gotta pray, you know, so that what he has planned for them is not what I don't want for them. However, his plan is his plan.
He said when you pray for your energy, he calls a fire on their head.
Yes.
So you releasing the people. See, we try to hold on to people, and when God taking people from us, all we see is the person leaving. So we see they back, but we don't see
We
that
don't
God
see him. He got them by
God
his
got
shirt
him by
and
the
he
chest,
pulled
pull him away from you, and we keep asking for stuff to come back.
So, you know, and I to go off of that, and you know, you talked about how that gun went off, you know, you tried to shoot it 3 times, right? And it just didn't go off, right? You could have probably threw it on the ground and it would have went off. It just wasn't meant for you. So, you know, in this business, because of the fraud and everything that's going on, the state of Maryland put a moratorium on, right, for our mental health facilities where they aren't giving out any more licenses, any more anything. Well, I'm like, yes, I made it, right? The last day I got mine fully licensed. Well, I go to get my Medicaid number and I can't get it, right? Because of the moratorium. I'm like, but I'm fully licensed. I mean, I got the tops of Medicaid on the phone. I'm crying. I'm invested. I'm ready to give up. I'm feeling defeated and all these things when it should have let up in January, right? Because they can only do it every 6 months. Well, what I didn't know was God was holding that back for me. Because the people that were not supposed to be in the next chapter of my life when I got to where he was taking me at, I would not have found out what I found out in these last 6 months. So guess what? Now that hold is going to be lifted come July the 1st, and I'm the first one to get it. And those people have already been removed. So we can't never ever, and it taught me that lesson right then, that everything happens for a reason, no matter how bad it may feel. It was not meant to go off. You were meant to meet us. You were meant to meet Chris. You were meant to meet people that no matter what they can, there's nothing to gain from helping you and loving you.
I called him
And
because
showing
how his event made me feel. I went there like, man.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Let's let her get in, and then we gonna y'all can open it. You got anything want to say, Miss Critique? Because there's a lot been going on before she get. Okay, let's go.
Oh, yeah.
It's getting hot in here, y'all. Hold up. Where that fire extinguisher at?
I'm gonna make it short. Actually, I grew up in a 2-part home. I'm currently now with 4 children, and after my mother passed, that was the real hurt in my heart. So I felt like I didn't have no purpose. I wasn't no good for anything. But I just kept going and kept going and kept going. So as I moved into the 21230 area, that was about 10 years ago, I started helping the homeless. And some people would look at me like, well, why are you doing that? You shouldn't be taking your food stamps. I said, they are people just like us. You don't know their circumstances. And I never looked at them like they was, oh, I can't deal with that or nothing like that. And I would give them hugs. I would buy them stuff. Even when it came down to the drug dealers, they had respect for me because I had respect for them. And I always told them every day, you could always get off this corner. You know that. You don't have to be here. So fast forward, I had 4 children. After that, on November the 15th of last year, I became homeless. So I went into a shelter. That's how I met Mr. Chris. So
What?
yes, so I met you at Security Square Mall. Me and my daughter and my 2 children that was in the stroller. We would be there every day. And when I first saw you, I said, "Oh, look at that. A black man dressed in the mall." That's what I'm
Oh, but
talking
you will never
about.
catch him without time.
Okay. I said, and that's something. That stands for something. And he don't know, ever since that day, you just gave me the power to get my own business, start helping people. Like, I get phone calls every day. "Well, somebody need to get in the shelter." Da, da, da. I said, "Well, hold on. I'll get you the information. Give me 2 hours." So you gave me a spirit in me that just woke me up, and it made me feel good as a mom. I know I can do it as a single parent. And I know if I can do it, it's other women out here that can do it too. So I was in the shelter at that time. And the shelter that really I went to, it was okay, but it wasn't what it was. Like I said, they drew me in by, "Oh, I can move you here to Hawaii with
That's what I'm
housing."
saying. You can move anywhere
You
with
can
this
move-
voucher.
Yes.
They tell them that we're going to give you a voucher. You can move
Yes.
anywhere in the United States. That includes Hawaii and Puerto
Yes.
Rico. Oh, I've heard this story.
Yes. And I'm saying, okay, well, I'm not going to go through that, but I want to stay in Baltimore. And then when it came time for the exit date, I had nothing. All I had was my kids' birth certificates, social security cards, medical assistance cards, and my ID. That was it. That's all I had. I had no housing. When I was in the shelter, no one had housing when they left. Everybody had to get a job and pay regular rent. But so I just said, I'm gonna go somewhere else and maybe I can do something. So when I met you, and then I started coming to the mall more often and seeing you more often, and then I moved to another shelter, which helping me now. And
So you're in the shelter now?
Yes.
With the kids?
yes,
Okay, we'll talk off air.
okay, and it was just something about. I said, I'm gonna call Mr. Chris because you came up on my feed, on my Facebook feed, and like I said, if it wasn't for you, and then when I talked to Miss Kim, Miss Nikki, it's just a blessing. What y'all do is a blessing, and it really fills my heart. But like I said, I've been there, I've done that. And you know, some people say, "Well, you're a single mom, ain't nobody going to." I said, I'm not here looking for no man. I'm trying to sit here and provide for my kids. That's why I opened up a business. If something was to happen to me, I want them to have housing, they'll have a job, so they don't have to depend on nobody, no family, no friends. I want to set this up before I close my eyes. And that's why I'm here today.
Well, I wanted to say, like, I don't take no credit for none of this. I'm very humble. God humbled me in a way where though I be scared when people say I helped them or I did this.
Yeah.
I get kind of scared a little bit. I be like, Lord, you know I don't want the credit for that, right? So
Right.
I just give all glory to God.
Yes.
You know, people get on me because I don't post a lot. You know, you like, Nikki, you gonna get some content? A lot of times I don't. And it's not because I don't, you know, I just don't want to, it's not even about the accolades. But sometimes you're catching people in such a vulnerable time and space that you don't know if you post them or what it is. Everything is just not for everybody. So either you're in it for your heart or you're in it for something else. So a lot of things, like Chris will just post the food. He's not posting the people or testimonials or things like that. So for me, it's very hard because a lot of things I do are with the community.
Yeah.
So it's hard to post certain things because it's none of nobody's business who needs help at that time. Yeah.
And even with the videos, right? I mean, man, we do videos all the time. I always try to talk to the people. When you come to our food drives, we don't just want to give you food.
Right.
We want to talk to you. We want to get to know who you is. We want to learn your
Yes.
name. Like I know his name. I know your name.
Yes.
I don't want to just like characterize y'all as them people or you know just trying to get y'all in and get y'all out. I want y'all. We pray.
Yes.
See, that's the most important thing when we pray over the food first, because God been using me and gave me a second chance. I don't need no shine.
Right.
When I said, listen, when I'm videoing y'all, it's not to capture your face. It's not to degrade you or humiliate you. It's so that the people that I need to connect with that's higher up, them titles, they need to put those titles down.
Right.
But in order for me to get the food that I need, the quantity that we've been getting for the thing has grown. We up to like 700-800 people now. Right?
Wow.
And I wasn't expecting to do that like that, but I'm saying the videos help me to go and solidify the food.
Yeah.
So when I'm showing the people, man, look, it's a lot of people coming out for this food. And when those people at the farm see that, They were like, hold up, he ain't lying. Hold up. They told me I can only come every other month to the farm. But those videos that I've been getting from Security Square Mall and any other food pantry that we do, when they saw that video, come every Thursday. So you see why I do the videos?
Yes.
And I always try to show you when people make donations to me. I show you when you come out there to the food drives, you see where your money went at.
Yes.
I ain't paying no car payment on no house mortgage with your money. I'm actually the one who got using for y'all to give me y'all money so I know the real market for y'all.
Yes.
You feel me?
Yes.
So Mr. T, you wanted to chime in and it's a little fire. It's hot in here, you know what I mean?
Y'all been saying a lot. I'm gonna say this, that for myself, I know when I opened the store back up, that was my second store that I opened at Security Mall. And it was funny how me and Chris reunited, because that's what happened, because we worked together years before.
Back in 17, 18?
Yeah, and we were both doing podcasts and everything we're doing now. But when we came back to security, it was like at a whole nother level, right? Even with the store, it was like a whole nother level. Everything that I was doing 3 years ago, I was not doing now. And I knew that it was a reason for me coming back there, because I was just so like against being there from the beginning, because everybody was, why are you going back to security? It's dead in there, you know? And I'm just like, no, I'm going to make a difference, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. That's just me. So when I saw Chris, and I seen Chris, and he doing what he do, he had the food market then, and so I want another location, and he automatically came down there, and he saw the store and everything, and I'm like, I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do. What am I going to do? And I was literally just putting everything, I had just opened up, right? Yeah. Just opened up. And so I would go down to where he was at and just support. One of the things I do also, as well is like mentoring, right? And for me, the main goal behind helping others is really just, again, to follow my passion and to pursue my purpose. I've always liked helping people. My main reason for helping people with mental is to help them with figuring out what their passions are, so that they can reach their goal, right? Because I too went through mental breakdowns and stuff like that, and personal life, being reconstructed and all that, and I had to get through that. One thing I always say, even with church, okay, I always say, like with the pastors and stuff like that, for me, it's about the word and if I can receive it. And most of the time, you cannot receive anything from someone who haven't went through something. Right. So when you have went through something, you can now teach someone how to get through it. Yes. And that's the most important thing. So when me and Chris got together and I started saying, well, he got mad about something, and I got that phone call, like, I'm coming down there. Where are you at? And I'm in the mall getting my little cinnamon roll drink from the Cinnabon. Yeah, I stayed in there. Oh, my God. That was the reason why I gained so much weight. But I'm losing my weight. That right there, it just showed me, like, it was a purpose for me being there. And granted, we was there for, a year and a half? Doing even, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and we had so many different resources, so many different type of people coming out, and I was the best. You are, Miss Lincoln. You are, and because the crazy part is, I was even telling Chris how I was looking for another program to join myself, because I had literally took a year off from the mental health industry, so that I could focus on my business. And once Miss Nikki came, I think you came the very last evening. At Security
we went out with a bang.
We did. That's like 600 people there and everything. And it was just funny because when I met, Chris kept telling me about Miss Nikki, and I'm just sitting there like, okay.
And I didn't get a chance to really talk to you that day because it was like so crazy.
It was so much going on.
Did you talk to her?
Barely
I
that
know.
day.
Yeah,
I'm like, all right, well, we gotta connect this joint up.
But everybody was just in their own little, doing their thing in their own department. I'm in the store trying to help people over there, and then everybody, and it's like, when you, and getting back to what Dominic said, when you are opening your eyes, right, it's like an awakening, right? And when you are really working on what it is that you're trying to do and you listening, but sometimes you gotta sit still. Even with myself, like I had to, from opening the store to closing the store, everything where I needed to be. Again, I really feel like God pushed us out of security mode because it was time for us to leave. And granted, everybody was trying to get me to stay. I mean, I had never seen so many business owners that came out of their own spaces. I was there for a whole year and a half, and I didn't see half these people. But when we was packing up, they coming down, visiting us like, where y'all going? And so
Well,
it just showed.
you did go to all of the store owners in the store, which nobody never do, and try to bring the store together. So all of the owners, she trying to get all of the owners in one place so we can have a meeting and we can bring it in.
They didn't want it though, but the more they realized once I was packing up, and they came to us and was like, "Where are you going?" And I mean, even when I go in there now, it's like so much love. Even Chris, like it's so much love, and
Because from the three people.
Yes.
I saw her. Cinema, I miss you, honey, because you was the only thing they saw. You never hit a line.
Never hit a line. Never hit a line, okay?
And they got a nice food court. I think,
Yes.
I don't know what happened. Security Square Mall used to do the little town events, and that's when my son got discovered, right at the McDonald's thing, and they had the thing, and everybody kept saying, so again, it's about what you feel. I kept saying, no, I'm gonna put them in this. They're gonna win. They're gonna win. And mind you, he was 5. I was like, but he can rap, and he was rapping, and the lady one day was like being smart. She's like, well, can he say his alphabet? Y'all, my 5-year-old baby turned around and rapped his alphabet. So I knew then, right, that he had personality with it. I put him on there. They won. They went to the Apollo. They won. They got discovered by B2K.
Right.
He got moved to California. Then he eventually got signed with Chris Brown. So he's been touring the world and doing all those different things since he was about 8.
But that's
So
what
you
we
never
need.
know. So Security
We
Square
need
Mall.
the community.
Yeah, those
has to
events
come
and
back.
things
It
like
helps.
that. Yeah.
I did the same thing with my daughter, my oldest daughter, right in Security Mall, and it was a modeling talent event, and they had all the little girls in there. They took pictures of them. They had them walk down a runway, and she got picked up again. And then we went to a fashion program, and she got into that too. So again, it's the community though, and where we You got static going on. You keep touching that mic.
Right, there you go.
Y'all, we get ready to get all new equipment things off. But yeah, so again, it starts with the community and the people like us that's out here. You gotta be outside doing the work. You're not going to.
Where that song at? Boots on the ground.
I'm gonna get it. It's not on it yet, but I'm gonna get it on here. He always popping those songs, and I'm like,
I gotta teach you line dance. I do know the dance.
I know the
class.
class.
I know the dance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did just order some of the Journey ones. Yes. So they should be in by next week. Yes.
Oh, that's
So
okay.
They will be in. I have a lot of stuff that I ordered for the 31st. We have the water bottles
Okay.
with the labels. We have cotton candy. Everything has the logo on it, right? I have cotton candy. I have toys for the kids. We have slime, the little slimes. We have
they love slime.
I have a sign, that says like it's a hashtag. It says the Journey Mental Health and Wellness community event. So it's something that we can just continuously use.
Right.
I got the regular little church fans. We got crayons. Just if you name it, candy, everything. But real quick, I just wanna, because my brother is here. He came and picked me up, and when we walked in, y'all was like, "Oh, that's a good brother." And I think that sometimes in family we forget, right? And I know he won't mind me, sharing his story, which is very similar to Dominic's. this took a big testimony of love, right? My brother, he got addicted to drugs, in what year? About what year?
About 2015.
About 2015. I was still living in California. So when I got back here at the end of 2015, he was already outside shooting dice with no dice. Okay, like he was winning 7-Elevens. And I knew it was a problem. He had a newborn baby. His kids were 1, 2, and 3 months old. And I had no choice because the state came in because they weren't properly cared for. I didn't know what I was going to do. I had to take all 3 of the kids because I wasn't going to let them go into the system.
Right.
And I think I had them for a little over 2 years, waiting for him to get clean. He would get clean and he would get high. He would get clean and he would get high. He would get clean and he would get high. And it was just an up and down effect, right? And so finally, the kid's mom had got herself clean because they were both addicts. And she took the oldest 2 kids, and then she didn't want the baby because she didn't bond with her. I had her since she was 3 months old. So, I mean, it was a fight with him. And, a lot of my family gave up. A lot of my sisters, nobody. Why do you keep sending him money? And I knew what he was using it for, but in my mind, it was keeping him safe. Right? I'm thinking he's not going to go steal. He's not going to go rob somebody, or attempt to rob somebody high and, hallucinate and think that he's 8 feet tall and he's 5'1", So for me, it was just trying to make sure that he was safe. So I felt like if that was something that I was doing, although I knew it was hurting him. And then eventually I prayed about it, and he will tell you, I cut him completely off because I had to let him hit rock bottom because I was the only thing, and I still had those kids. And he called me, and he got mad one day at me because I was giving his kid's mom accolades for being clean for so long, and and I was helping her. He said, "Well, wasn't happy with me. I've been clean for 3 months." I said, "Well, talk to me in a year because I've seen this before, and don't tell me that I owe you any accolades. You owe them to yourself. Don't do this for me. Don't do this for them. Do it for yourself because I don't care. I don't owe you any accolades. The moment you decide to get clean and you decide to get yourself together, you'll compliment yourself because what I have to say won't mean anything." And he said to me that is what stuck in his head was like, wow. He went away, y'all. I didn't talk to him for 6 months, right? 6 months. And by the time he popped back up, he had been clean for 6 months. And I told him, I said, okay, I'm going to help you, right? I took him out of one program because I knew that it was going to be a repetitive cycle. And I put him where I could watch him. Never gained $1, never put him in a program that was with me. I put him where I could watch him. Right? And I helped him just get himself together and slowly regain everything. And my niece, who I can't remember, the 3-year-old baby, she's now 10. So this has been going on for over 10 years. He's always known, she knows who her dad is. So now he's backing her. He's allowed to have keys to my office and help me out, and all those different things. We've always had each other's back. And unfortunately, in our communities today, people give up. But sometimes you have to, right? For the better good. But now he is, how long you been clean now?
Coming up on 19 months.
19 months.
He's got a new car. He's got a place.
You be out there with me?
He out there volunteering. Even when I'm not there, he's out there. No matter what I call him, he's right there. And he always said, "Well, sis, I got you. Look what you did for me. I didn't do that for you to do anything for me, but thank you." But I did it because I believed in you, but you had to believe in yourself. And I tell him all the time, when we'll go do something, we'll go to he'll be like, "Oh, well, we're going to go to eat." I'm like, "Well, I'm going to treat y'all. Y'all go to, to the hibachi, or something." And he'll say, "Man, thanks, sis." I'm like, doesn't it feel better on this side of life? Doesn't it feel more purposeful on this side of life? Now you use your testimony and you change somebody else's life because God kept you here through so many, addictions, so many drugs, so many going to jail, so many just, almost dying, all those different things. You have a purpose. So I need you to find it. I'm still waiting for him to find it, but he needs to find it. However, he's always there. He shows up. He will give back. He understands that aspect of it. And he even said to me, because, I have a pantry outside of my office, and he's like, "Man, we was stocking it the other day." He was like, "Where was these when I was getting high?" And I said, well, now they are here. So now you can guide other people to where they can get a free meal and they don't have to go steal.
But that's the most important thing, though. like you said, sharing the information and giving back.
So y'all, just so y'all know, Sharon and I did connect, and she is one of my new counselors, and she can just get to the office. But
Yeah, that's my problem. That
Mhm.
but I do a lot of things, but I'm gonna get to the office.
and Dominic, we finally got to, after so many hit and misses, because he would be like, y'all didn't call me. I'm like, we called you. Look, it's a start. That's So it was a lot of back and forth. And then when I talked to him the last time about having an opportunity, I think it was like over the weekend or some time that went by, and I was like, wait a minute, because I didn't forget. I said, we need to get back in touch with Dominic. I said, give me his number. So I said, do me a favor. I had a meeting. I said, call Dominic for me, and you let him know that I have this opportunity for him, and he needs to call me now.
Right.
And so he didn't answer again. So she left him a message, and he called back. And so now he's coming in on Tuesday, and I'm going to introduce him to, the people. So I have a nice mentorship program for him as a house manager, where he'll get
Beautiful.
to be there at, at free room and board, and, actually using what he's talking about.
Can I be that, Jay?
And then the testimony, because a lot of those people are still in those groups. A lot of those people are still going through recovery.
Right.
So he'll be able to inspire them. He's my brother, he's a house manager, at one. So their stories will be able to inspire. I don't believe in, I don't want someone that's never done. No, I want someone that has lived this life, because you can't teach me from a book what it feels like to walk. A book can't tell me how to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue.
Right.
Absolutely.
You get me? So it's like life lessons, and that's what got me so far, is because I've lived through so much. And I tell people all the time, I'm not judging you. I just need to know your story so that I know how to help you.
Right. Absolutely.
So when you came to Mr. Dominic, when you first came out you heard about the market. Tell us that's
What I did.
how you came out
You
there.
came to Glen Burnie first, right?
Nah.
Oh no, you said I met you at Glen Burnie first, right? Where did I meet you at first?
What's that? Poplar
Papa
Grove?
Grove.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
My
came out
first-
go first, then we came out there.
My first memory when I called you and I said something to you.
Get that mic.
To me?
One of the mics.
It's because when I was there, my grandmother had this big wagon. Let me say it from the beginning. Grandmother like, we going to food pantry. And I'm like, what is that? This me still going through me getting myself together, changing. You know what I mean? And I'm like, man, I'm thinking on here like, grandma, I know you say you 78, but I might need to bring something. You know what I mean?
well, I might not go on. Bring it different.
When I got there, get the wagon, I walk over there. I ain't need it. I did my Lord. Let me look at the plot, the exit plan, something happened, but it was just love. And then when I was coming through the line, I'm like, all right, grandma, we got enough. And she said something. You like, I'm thinking you frustrated, but you're not. You like, man, fill that thing up.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I did, yeah.
I'm thinking you frustrated, but you're not. You like, I'm good. You like, here, filling me up. So it was just that good feeling of, a love for real. I mean, that's what I call love. Because people weren't in compliance because of threat of something happening or not getting enough. Everybody was just showing love. And I think that's like the first time in the last 9 years I went under the gun in somebody else's hood and ain't feel
Right.
yeah. I'm like, dang. Every hood need to mirror what's going on there. I mean, it used to be like that though. And then some way it changed. Like now it's just people are hustling, but they just taking from the hood.
Everybody is just out for themselves.
Yeah.
Right? So before Chris, we're a little older, your neighbor could spank you and send you home, and then your mama spank you and tell you.
It's 50 days to give me go home.
What? It takes a village, right? And so nowadays, especially what's going on right now with, as they call them, the YNs and the youth and the juvenile, the DJS and all those different things. I had a back and forth with somebody about that, like what you feel. And a lot of them like, well, these kids, they run about. No, well, what about the parenting? Because my kids knew better, right? Because you have to instill that fear. It's learned behavior and what was taught to you, right? So you even touched on when your mom passed away, that was the breaking point for you, that you actually, changed, and that became the worst part of you. Because see, the fear that you had of disappointing her, not in fear of her, because my kids can beat, well, they think they can beat me, but You know, but the fear of disappointing me and the fear of disrespecting me is something that they would never do. And unfortunately today,
It went away.
yeah, it wasn't like, you know, unfortunately today, these kids have no fear. They don't fear going home. You know why? Because they took the power out of the house.
Right.
You even, you know, I know somebody the other day, they called her son because her son was fighting in school. She go to the school, he's still cracking slick with her, the principal, and bucking, and you know, she grabbed him like right here and was like, you know, you're gonna respect this school. Yo, they called the police and locked her up. They called the police and locked her up, but yet you called her up here for him. So I told her next time they call you, don't go. That's their shit. You can't call them when you go home. You know, so at the end of the day, they've taken that power away from the parents because the moment you breathe on a child wrong, we can go to jail. I have too much to lose. But the discipline is what they are lacking.
Right.
Because social services and, you know, all those things, they need to make their money. If they don't have cases, they're not open. And that's what people need to understand. That is a business too. It's a business too. Yeah. And then you know, them keeping these crime numbers down right now is so that people can run for other things, but they are actually under calculating and under reporting things grossly, you know, as to what's going on. And a lot of it is the juveniles. So that's my thing is I want to create something where we start going into the homes of the juveniles that are in trouble so that we can teach the parents how to correctly parent and maybe come up with treatment plans and things for the family on reunification so that we can try to stop the bleeding because we can fix a kid, but if they go home and the mom don't care,
Right.
you know, or don't know how to care,
Right.
right? Because of what she's been taught and what she's been taught, then it's just going to continue being that vicious cycle of crime because the kids aren't parented.
That's true.
That's what I believe. You know, somebody's like, no, you know, the parent. Yeah, I do agree that they took took it from the parents. Because, you know, but at the end of the day, it's still a learned behavior, you know, and so we have to try to fix something. You know, like we said, it used to be good back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, how can we create something? And this is what Chris is doing at Be More Loyal, which is he's showing love. He's not getting anything in return. He's making sure that everyone that gets in that line has a meal. It does not matter who, what, when, where, why, what color. Some of the people don't even speak English. We over there trying to, no hombre, you know, so.
She got called on the phone.
I'm calling, you know, because I had Spanish counselors.
But it's so much love. They even in compliance. Like,
They are, yes.
I wouldn't have came. I wouldn't have been calling you back. I wouldn't have came back. And the grandma took me up Papa Grove. It was just the love. And I believe love ain't when everything good. Love is when things are
But then I see y'all
you can
doing
still
Byron
be
too.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw y'all.
That's
doing
what I
Byron
say.
too.
You
That's
embrace
what
me
you
though. I came over there. I'm like, man, I could like come here, bro, sign it. And I'm just like, all right. We got a job too, man. Like, man, you like the YNs, they listen to me. Not out of no fear. I just want to talk to them. Like, bro, what are y'all doing? I mean, if you're gonna do that, have a purpose. Like,
what I feel about Be More Loyal, for me, you know, I get invited so many different places, right? And I don't always accept them because the mission is not always my mission. The reason, and I'll be exhausted, okay? We were in Ocean City for a Narcotics Anonymous convention, and I had just got there. We split up our days so that he drove all the way back a day early just to be there for Chris because it wasn't that he needed me to be there. It was that I wanted to be there. That is what I want my name attached to, love.
Right.
Just giving, nothing to gain. When I do my little raffles, you know, or things like that, it's not to get anybody to sign up because I can tell you that sheet is barely anything, right? It's about, because people will call you, they'll call you a year later.
Yeah.
You know,
When
when
they
they think
ready.
about it, when
When
they're
they're
ready.
Right.
But it's about just supporting his mission. And that's what's missing today. That's what's missing. Just genuine compassion, love, you know, treating people, you know, like he said, greeting you and treating you with respect from the other side of the table. Because guess what? You could be on that other side filling up your basket the next week because that's your only meal.
Right.
So, you know, that's one thing that I love and appreciate about Be More Loyal and allowing me to be, you know, along with him on his journey. And that tells me that someone like Chris actually believes in what I'm doing as well. You know, to allow me to be there with him, you know, because there's so many different programs, there's so many different companies that would be trying to benefit off of it or, you know, do whatever. And Chris will tell you, without him even have to ask, no matter what I'm doing, every week I donate. You know, every single week I'm donating. I don't come just for me. I donate. When he sent out the thing for the event on the 31st, I sent 3 times what he asked me to send.
Right.
Full time.
Yeah, but you know, so, but I did because that's what was on my heart. If I could do it at that moment, that's what I did because I appreciate him. So at the end of the day, if that's what I have to do to, not what I have to do, let me reword that, what I want to do, right, to be on the same journey, right, you have to be able to give back.
But not even that, you show up. That's a difference. Okay.
Every week.
And let me say this.
Getting
because
rained on.
I've talked to multiple programs to actually become a counselor with those programs. And like I said before, one of my mentors who got me into it, she was just a real down-to-earth person. And that's what I got from Nikki. And and it was funny because when I actually talked to my mentor and I told her, I was like, I found a program, I'm about to join it. And she was like, wait, and I've literally been a part of another program. I haven't seen any clients. I haven't done anything with them for a whole year. But like I said, I took a break to focus on myself. And now that I'm where I feel like I'm ready to get back into it, my goal is always to help somebody else. So with the program, it allows us to do that. But one thing that I like about Nikki is that, again, and it sets you apart from these other programs. Because it's not too many. And like I said, other than my mentor that I've been under for a couple years, you are the only one that I've seen. Like it's one thing to go into a building, a mall. You know what I mean? Anybody can come out the security mall.
Right.
You're a little safer there. Security there, all that. We have no security, no police to come past, and nothing like that over at Mosier Street. So again, the fact that you're willing to come out to show up and to be boots on the ground, okay, that's what it takes.
As the owner. So
As the owner. Like some people send their people. You get what I'm saying?
I come sometimes just by myself.
Yeah. So but that is what sets you apart from, just like with Chris. It's a lot of food banks out there. But there's none that's coming out here actually getting on the corner. And the places that, like right before Chris came out there, it was just a shooting out there not too long ago. So when we said, hey, we're going to Moshe, and it was just like a lot of negative talk about it. And even some people was like, oh, the people, the same crowd that was in security mall is not going to come back. And guess what? Then that must mean you don't really need the help.
You don't really need the help.
So, but guess what? We've had people that have gotten on a bus, that have gotten rides, and everything, walked, because they need the help.
And for me, you are showing that you are willing to do whatever you need to do to get food. So I'm in a group, right, through Facebook. I'm not going to mention the group. And there's, they're always asking for food in that group. And it's a group that allows you to ask. And I used to donate and give and give and give all the time, right? But then I sat back and I looked at all the posts that say, but I don't drive, you got to bring it to me. Or, oh, I don't have this, but you got to bring it to me. Or specific things and, this and that. So now I'll look to see the people that are willing to do it. And there was a lady that just said, I'll take those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. The lady said, well, can you pick them up? She said, I'll get on the bus with my 3 kids and come and get them right now. I inboxed her and I said, stay where you are because your effort was enough for me. So I inboxed her and I sent her, well, no, not her. She didn't write me back for 5-6 hours, but another family that was going to go do it ended up inboxing me and I still, helped her family. But, at the end of the day, I for me, what people think for PRP is they think that, oh, they're going to give me this. You're going to give me that. You better give me this. You better give me that. No, baby, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to lead you to the water. And I'm going to teach you how to drink.
That's right.
Right? So, you need food? Okay, here are 10 pantries in your area. Now, what I can do for you is I can get you a bus pass to get to them. Or we can send, a ride for you. Your counselor can come and pick you up, and they can even sign up for you to get a second box. Or things like that. Oh, here's a diaper and milk pantry.
Yes.
We need to learn to give people the resources.
Without charge. Oh,
Without,
some people gonna give you resources, but they're gonna charge you for it.
they're gonna
And
charge
then
you.
sometimes I pay my money for the resource and it don't work for me.
And it don't even work.
So do I get a refund? Do I supposed to get a refund?
No.
But faith, right? This is faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So when you got people that's PhDs and they got all these different degrees, you know what? They just had a good memory. Because they read that book and they remember when they got test came up.
They don't know about life.
But they don't have no experience, right?
Exactly.
And you got a lot of pastors that do it. You got a lot of the mayor. I ain't got nothing against Brandon Scott. I like him a lot, but I'm just saying your experiences was gonna win the people. Your experiences is gonna change the condition of the community. You got to be out there. You can't send. I'm gonna send a commissioner out there. No, you got to go out there. They said,
That's
Chris,
me.
you.
That's right.
One little kid. So I got books in a lot of different stores, gas stations, and all that.
I got a couple of your books.
Right. So a little kid came into the restaurant and said, "Hey man, you know him?" The guy was like, "Yeah, this is my partner. I saw his books in here." He said, "Well, why is dude still in the streets? He's famous. What is he still doing in the streets?" So when I came to the store, to check on him, whatever, they said, "Hey man, a young kid came in with your books today, and they said that you famous. Why you still in the streets?" I said, "Well, let me just tell you this. Ain't nothing famous about me." I said, I become famous when I go down there with the people that's famous, because the people who really in need are the famous people. They need me. I don't need them. So let me go down here with somebody who really need me, and let me show them that being famous means that I can touch you, Sharon. I mean, Miss Critique. I can touch you, Miss Nikki. I can touch you, Mr. Dominique. I can touch you, Miss Rochelle. Know why? And I can call your names because I know who you are.
That's me.
A famous person, you got people falling out at concerts, right? Ain't nothing wrong with Chris Brown. I love him. He a nice author.
But wait a minute, and let me just tell y'all, out of all of the celebrities that I have met, that is a humble young man. I'm talking Thanksgiving. Everyone sat around, and he was the only one to get up and help me clean my kitchen. My kids were afraid of dogs, and he bought them a pit bull so that they could learn to love and grow with dogs. And grow with dogs. My son didn't do his homework on tour. Guess what he told him? You won't go on stage until it gets done. And the next time you even think like you're going to talk back to your mother, it's going to be me and you in here. He is an amazing person inside. Right. So I know I jumped to that defense, for him, because I know a lot of the inside of knowing him for so many years and how he's changed our lives. No, but I know what you're saying. They fall off on him and he don't even know him. That's not true. You can go to LA. When I tell you he would go walk through, we went to go see, what was it, this Christmas? Me, him, Rihanna, all of us, we in the back of the thing. And people didn't even know he was in a movie theater. I had to run, y'all. I was fat. I was trying to run for my life. Humble.
But that's because he's been through some things too.
He real.
You know what I mean?
He is real. He don't pretend
thing.
to be nothing.
The
He's
most
not.
realest people that you encounter will be the people that has been through something. Again, it's a lot of celebrities out there. But I tell people all the time, I don't look at and I've worked with a lot of them. I don't look at nobody as a celebrity. And that's why I'm able to work with them. And the one thing they don't like for you to do is fan out.
You better not fan out, honey.
Do not go around a celebrity and fan out.
I have met any and everybody.
Because you know what? We have to realize that we are our own celebrity. We are all celebrity in our own right.
Well, not just that too. A lot of times when they're meeting you on a personal level, let's just say if you're backstage or something, right? Like, they don't want that. That's their time to be themselves.
Yeah.
Right? They don't want to have to be who they are when they step outside that door, because I can tell y'all, Chris is actually very different by himself. He's a big kid. When I say a big kid, I'm talking he would put on a whole Spider-Man suit so people would know he running around Times Square. He's a big kid. And what a lot of people don't know is he gave away a percentage of every ticket he sold on that concert to St. Jude Hospital.
Awesome.
So certain things about people that, a lot of people that you don't know.
But guess what?
And that's because they keep it under wraps, so because they're doing it from the heart.
They're doing it from the
There's a lot of
heart.
people that do things and they show it. You get what I'm saying? Or you'll hear about it. Oh, somebody leaked. Oh, this person did that. That's they told them to leak it. You get what I'm saying? But it's a lot of people doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff. We just don't hear about it.
Right.
And so when I was on another station before a couple weeks back, or last week, with CAO Leach, who is like the second mayor, that was my comment to her was, I understand, what you are doing, but the problem is that you don't know what we are doing. So we need to figure out a way to bridge the gap between you guys and us.
Right.
I said, because we boots on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
We are doing your actual jobs. While you get to go to City Hall or go sit wherever you sit at your desk and push a pencil and, type and send out directives to people. Chris, Sharon, me, we were all down on the ground,
They calling me the mayor.
doing what, we need to do.
Right.
Their jobs are to, what Mayor Brandon Scott wanted to do was decrease crime, right? So we are helping do that if we're giving hungry people food,
Yeah.
because now they're not going to rob, kill, and steal
Right.
to get a meal.
Exactly.
So we are the people that y'all need to be meeting with so that we can figure out a plan together,
Right.
That's
right? So that we can get your support now, because you have ours.
Right.
How can we
Even if
get
they
your
come out
support?
To what we're doing, come out to on Moshe on Saturday. Come out to you don't want to go there? We had the Reginald F. Lewis Museum on the 31st. So again, come out.
Well, I
and
will
then
send the
you
stuff
can
to
talk
Susan.
to the people, because that's who you really need to talk to.
You only talk to them around election time.
Yeah.
When it matters.
Yeah,
Now you
because
walk.
see them in
Now
the
you
streets
walking through
then.
Pennsylvania Avenue with
Yeah.
your little bullhorn, baby. We
Yeah.
know who you all are already.
Yeah.
Right.
But do you know who I am? Because I've been here for a couple of years now, and I've fed thousands and thousands of people, and you still don't know who I am.
Mhm.
However, who have you stepped down and fed? What are you giving back by being the mayor, by being the governor, by being a senator?
Yes.
No matter what it is, all those hopes and dreams that you are giving people, and everybody's so upset with the president. Oh, we all are. You get what I'm saying? However, we got the people right here next to us. We got the people right next to us lying to us too. It may not be to that magnitude because they don't have that type of power.
Right.
However, if someone told you that they're going to decrease crime and their way of doing that is to fudge the numbers,
Right.
if someone is telling you they're going to help feed the city and their way of doing that is by, giving,
Holding food.
yeah.
Food bank. Donations all the time. You gotta invest. Let me back up a little bit, y'all. Let me clarify what I was saying earlier. What I was saying earlier is my mom told me this. She said, Chris, when you out in school, in the streets, and if a person didn't say Chris, don't grab nothing out the air that ain't yours.
Mhm.
Don't claim it. So when I'm speaking in general, it only applies to the people who it applies to.
Right.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So if a year and a half we've been doing this,
Mhm.
I ain't no pastor, they call me that. I ain't no mayor, they call me that. They give me all these different titles, but just Chris.
Mhm.
So I'm a regular person doing this, right? Without no grant money.
Hello.
We just started asking
Hello.
for donations
That's right.
because the reason that we want donations is so that we don't gotta get no molded food to the community. We don't
Right.
want to have to go to Walmart, Giants, Costco's, or whatever market this is and get the secondhand sell-by stuff, and then we got to pick through it to get the mold out of it to make it good for the people. Because I ain't turning in my house, so I don't want to keep giving the community that. So I'm asking the community to just donate a little bit of something so that we can go to the farm and get you all of some good stuff.
But
Where you can
saying
create
that
your
you have
own
to
sell-by
ask.
date,
Yeah.
right? So when I say that, you got people that told me I wouldn't put a Be More Loyal t-shirt on, but you got a Nike shirt on and you don't even know who got
You
who
don't
on
even,
that.
and they don't even know you
Right.
don't care about you. They
And this
gave
is
you
the people that we deal with every day.
And in
We
fact,
know.
Nike raising their prices right now.
Yeah, I'm about to say half of them don't want us to wear it anyway.
And they raising their prices right now because of the tariffs. So they want to make sure they still profit the same way that they want to profit while still taking while we have to pay for it.
Right.
So the
And they
big
paying taxes too.
yeah.
They buying the Nike shirt for $50, $60 and you paying taxes.
And
on
it was made over in China for about $3.
$3. Yeah.
But see, that's the thing, though.
It's like a 900% markup is what I think it was,
Yeah.
something like that.
I need our community to stop trying to look like you got money. We don't need to look like we got money. We need that. Look. I had a
You know what the saying is? I don't want to cut you off, but I would rather have my money in my bag than spend it on my bag.
Mhm.
I know
Yeah,
that's
so
right.
you got some.
That's
I seen
right.
some young ladies, walk around pretty and got $5,000 bags, but they ain't got nothing in their account.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Don't be trying to go overboard to try to impress people.
Right.
The people we need, the only person I'm trying to impress right now is God.
Hello.
I want to make sure I
Can't
wake up
take none
every
of it
morning.
with you.
He whipped me up. I checked my list. I said, oh, hold up, I'm alive. I'm well. That means he got a purpose for me for the day.
Yeah.
So it's somebody assigned to me when I go outside these doors that's waiting on me.
Mhm.
And I go out there, and that's where I run into the people.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, we got to stop praising the people just because they got these PhDs and these degrees. Praise God for the people who coming to you without the degree, who've been through the experience and helping you get the answer to what the problem you're going through.
Yeah.
Because you went through what I went through. Now you telling me how you got through it. Now let me just follow suit because you got through it.
Right.
And
That's what I
money,
said to you yesterday.
money didn't do it.
Around you. So.
Money can't
So
do
you
it.
were there for, you know?
Millions of dollars I had that I could call and got in drop ceilings and shoe boxes and tennis shoes and Timberland boots. I had money, but I still couldn't get my freedom back. So the only way that I got my freedom back was the praise. So now the only way people right now in the day gonna get their life back is praise.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Ain't no other
Allow
way.
him to lead you.
Yeah.
You know what made me embrace you? Because I couldn't believe what I was feeling when I was there. And that I walked my grandmother to the car, put everything in there. I'm like, let me go holler at him. It's the first time I see him Powder Grove. I could feel you. I'm like, let me embrace him. I gave you a handshake. And like, he was telling me the story a little bit because you embraced me. I'm like, yeah, that's one of them. You know what I mean? And since then, I'm getting the notifications, my bell on. And then you too, for real. When I was trying, acting a little bougie, like, I'm good, I don't need nothing else. You know, my grandmother looked at me, you get that throwing the stuff in there. I'm like, Granny out here like a soldier. We good. And then I came, I'm like, yo, man, yeah. And then bro was like, there, come here, write your name down again. You know what I mean? So.
And then we came back. He's like, y'all ain't called me. I said we called you. You didn't answer.
You told me to.
Yeah, we hit and missed for a while. But when I finally got him on the phone and we talked, and then he started missing again, I made sure that I found him. You know, and I said, you don't have a choice.
A lady lived on that block. She said she been on that block for 50 years on Pop Grove Emotion. She said she lived right there. It's her house. Miss Joyce. She saw me and she looked at all the tables way down and she looked up. She just bust out crying. She told her husband to bring her a chair. The lady set her chair in the middle of Motor Street and sat and just cried. She said, Chris, can I hug you? I said, Mama, you okay? What's wrong? She said, I remember 2 or 3 years ago, you told me you was going to come back. And can I be honest? I said, of course. She said, I didn't think you was coming back. I said, well, the only reason why I'm back and the only reason you can go into these hoods and go where you need to go to is if God send you there. Because otherwise, if you go in somebody's hood talking you pulling up and you setting up some things, there's going to be some problems around there. And we've been doing this for going on, 8 weeks straight? Almost 2 months now, right? Hasn't been no police presence.
No,
Hasn't been no security presence. It hasn't been nothing rowdy going on. Guess why? Because whenever you call for the presence of God to be somewhere, evil can't be present at the same time. Whenever you call in prayer at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you got the whole community praying, what you expect going to happen around there? Things is going to change.
But you know, this week it's going to be, we're going to have it.
What we got going on this week?
So this week we're going to be cooking on the grill.
The grills is coming
The
out.
grill. And the Journey Mental Health has an additional 100 hamburgers and 100 hot dogs that we are also going to be donating, and we're also going to do a raffle that day as well.
So we're going to have like 3 or 4 grills going on at one time.
We're going to be cooking too.
While we setting the tables, because I get that
I got a new tent.
I get that 6:30. I'll be there at 6:30. We drop off the first load there. My wife go to work. If I hope she ain't got overtime this week. If she ain't got overtime, then I'll be there earlier. But she been having to go to work, so I got to drop the load off early. I go home, take a shower, get ready. 9 o'clock, I'm back out there. 9 o'clock, we out there putting tables up. So whatever, I don't know, listen to me. When God gives you vision, you can't be looking around for nobody else to fulfill the vision because they can't see what God showed you.
That's right.
That's why when people be like, you can't do that, this is the word I can't and no, it's not in my vocabulary.
And those people are meant to go with you anyway.
Right.
The boosters.
Oh.
Y'all know about the boosters on the rocket, right? Okay. So when the rocket going up and we going to the top, us as people,
Them
we
boosters
the
gotta fall
rockets.
off.
When you get to a certain altitude in life, whether you're going in the air, whether you're going to your next destination, whether you're going to your next food drive, or whatever you're going to, your next fashion show, your next modeling career, whatever it is that you're going to do, some people has got to fall off because they're your boosters. They are the answers. They are the correct way to look around at yourself and say, well, golly, I left such and such back there, but I'm all the way up here.
Yeah, but it's sometimes it can be a sad,
It's good.
for me, because, my boosters, you know, that fell off, are people that I, you know, especially, you know, that I genuinely love, right, and will always love. So learning to love a booster that has fallen off, as you say, has been very hard for me because I am one of those people that I genuinely love, right? And you know, when you really love someone, you don't stop loving them. You learn to live without them.
Right.
Right. So the comfortableness that I'm feeling is actually elevating me. And I'm actually so thankful to God for where He has taken me even without them. Because for a while I thought I would be nothing without these people. And maybe that's why God needed to release them, because I was relying on them more than I was relying on myself. When He knew that I was the one. Right?
Wow. Anything we love more than God, He's gonna be moving anyway.
Mm-hmm.
We serve a jealous God.
That's right.
So all my angst and everything that I'm committed to doing for the community or whatever the case may be, I'm first of all doing it for God. He sent me on a mission. He gave it to me. I love the story of Joseph, and that's what I'm living out. Like, Bible study cool, church cool, but we are the church. And listen, them four walls ain't never did nothing for nobody. A title don't make money. People make money. A title don't make
Title means nothing.
provision. People make provision.
Yeah, but then, you know, they say, Nikki, you don't own it. Why are you out here? I'm out here because I need to be out here. I'm out here because I want to be out here. It doesn't matter if I started the company or not. I'm no different than you, or you. Because how can I be a leader if I'm not teaching them how to lead the right way? I can't expect something of you that I'm not willing to do myself.
So we got to stick with faith. I'm going to leave everybody with faith.
Okay.
Like I said, faith is something, hope for evidence, thing not seen. You're not going to be able to see it. You can't see it, but you got to get in it. Bible study, right? It's Bible study real cool. But when you studying it, I done seen it countless times. People studying it, they marking it up, they underlining this, they hooping and hollering, and then they close it, and then the next day, we open it and we on whole something else. Hold up. First of all, I ain't even got past Joseph, Job, and Matthew yet. I'm still stuck on them, and that's what I'm living right now. So and the word of God is alive. And it cut like a two-edged sword, but the only way it's going to cut is if you were operating in it.
That's right.
Did I say that again?
Yeah.
I did.
Mm, big time.
I can't hear
The
it.
other one. Do the other one. Closer to the mic. Yeah, like that. There you go.
You got it.
Yeah, you good.
All right. So actually, I'm right now, I'm living my scripture out.
It's not good.
Oh, I can't
No,
hear
put
it.
it back. All right, that's
There you
it.
go.
That's good? All right.
No. It's
Wait
like,
a minute. Don't touch it.
I'm sorry, y'all. I did it again.
It's still a little static, but
So bring this back down? Bring it back down.
made it worse. There you go.
Got it?
mm,
All right. So what I was, I think that when we doing Bible study, right, we need to fulfill what we read. So that means that when we do close and we hooping and hollering, tomorrow we need to be out in the community living what we just read so that people can see that the Bible is actually alive. But if we keep marking up and you keep sitting in that front stool and you ain't been elevated and you the same place you was this time last year, why are you still sitting places where you're being tolerated and not nowhere where you're going to get celebrated?
and that's so crazy because I didn't know I was being tolerated, right? So listening to you say that, I know that was all His purpose because I didn't know I was being tolerated. I didn't know all of these things. So I learned them after the fact. I so I didn't see it. I was blind to it. So I was being tolerated. So I definitely understand.
They don't want to share the microphone. They want to do all the talking. They want to do, you want to listen to them. Ain't no feedback back. They just hear themselves all
You don't
day
get
long.
a chance to speak, say a word.
You see what niggas did this now? I have to sit back and just let y'all, because look, everybody need to air out too. It ain't a one-sided thing. Can I talk? You gonna give me a minute to talk? But you got people that take over the whole show. It's all about them. It ain't never about, yo, what can I do for you? How can I help you? No, go do this for me. Go do that for me. People has been writing books since they've been with Be More Loyal. People that started their LLC since they've been with Be More Loyal. People that got houses. People that brought houses since they've been with Be More Loyal. You know why? Because I ain't holding you back from nothing. I want you to go further so that when you go, I got a piece of that coattail and I'm going right with you. You ain't gonna leave me because you started with me.
That's right.
Nobody don't want to leave nothing back that's good. You feel me? So anything that's good connected to you, you're gonna take it with you. And if it's bad, guess what? You're gonna leave it like it's trash. We not trash. We human beings.
That's right.
We children of the most high God. And I'm gonna leave that. So anyone else y'all want to take it out?
Nope, I just want to say thank you guys for having me, not just on the show, but, allowing me, allowing the journey, my journey, to mix with and, partner with Be More Loyal, and trusting in me to have the same vision and heart that you have. So I'm just very thankful just to be a part of something very, very special. And I feel it growing. It's going to get bigger. It's going to be bigger. And I'm just happy to be a part of it. So I just want to say thank you for that opportunity.
Oh, glory to God.
Yes.
Anybody else?
I want to say thank you to all of you, and I expect myself to grow and to walk in y'all shoes, and let's go and get this together.
Now you're gonna walk in your shoes.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk in my shoes.
We're gonna guide you to walk in your shoes.
Yes.
In your purpose. There you go.
Yes. And
You got no song?
appreciate
Walking in my purpose, can't nobody stop me. Mr. Dominic,
Yes.
you want to give him some closing words?
Just thanks for the love, just that feeling, and just showing me that it's people like me out here, and integrity's still real. There's some people that hold that close and important. I heard that from your story, yours, everybody, and find that purpose. Find that purpose. We all got here because we looking for purpose, or we found it and we living in it. So I'm thankful for that, for real. Thank y'all.
Y'all want to give them y'all handles? How can they reach y'all? Can they follow y'all? Keep up with y'all journeys that y'all going through? Social media?
So the Journey Mental Health and Wellness, we are located at 1822 Pennsylvania Avenue, 21217. Our office number is 410-801-8910. We can be found at the www.thejourneymentalhealthandwellness.com. If you would like to fill out a questionnaire, to actually come in and learn more about the program. We are also on Instagram at The Journey Mental Health.
Awesome.
Mr. Dominic, you want to give them your hand? You want to save some mind?
We just give glory to God, and I just want to stay on my path. Right now, I don't got no handles.
You got a
I'm
handle.
on my path. I'm trying to have this handle on God.
Tell them meet you at the market. Tell them meet you at the market.
There you go. Meet you on Saturday at 2 o'clock. I'm from me, Dominic.
Yeah.
The cookout on Saturday, man.
You want to leave your hand?
All right. You can find me on Facebook at Rochelle the Boss. We are Blue Goddess. We do DNA testing, urinalysis testing. We also do cases with immigrants as well as DNA testing. So that's my handle, and y'all can reach me at 443-435-8476.
Oh, we can test and see if he's really my brother.
We PowerfulNoRadio.com. You can download the app on Google Play, Apple Store, Instagram, Powerful No Radio. That's the business handle. And my handle is Critique the Empire, I believe.
I know.
You tired?
And
Yes.
Critique Empire Entertainment, well, ENT, and then House of Critique Designs. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, and CritiqueEmpireLLC.com. Yeah.
And you can also reach Sharon at The Journey Mental Health and Wellness.
Yes, you
So if you come in and you would like for her to mentor you, you can just come in and say, I want to work with Sharon.
Yeah, you can do that. And let me say this. I want to say something to you.
Uh-oh.
Because you say you don't have a handle.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to get a handle.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to use that handle to help others. Because you have a voice, and you have a mission, and you have a purpose. And one thing that we have to learn how to do when it comes to social media, everyone uses it for multiple different things. Some people use it for personal, some people use it for entertainment, right? And during your journey right now, it's really healing, right? And then while you're healing, you're also living in your purpose. And when you ask, it's power in them. So the fact that you have gain faith in your believing, because in order to get what it is that you're looking for, you have to believe first to get it. The right people, places, and things will start coming into your life, and that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
Okay.
because I do want to say he's coming in on Tuesday to meet with me, but and that was for something totally different. But after hearing his story, I also want to sit down and talk to him about maybe doing a mentorship with us and coming on board with us, because I think that he has a powerful story, and I think that he would be an amazing vessel with us to help us bridge the gap, with the community and getting, people educated on mental health, getting people educated on, being sad.
Yeah.
Getting people educated on feeling less than, and all those different things. I think that his story is what I look for in when I'm hiring and when I'm, using people to fulfill our purpose, in the company. I think that what he's lived through is something that only people have lived through it can tell.
Yeah.
Right? So they may not believe me because certain things that I have not lived through.
Right.
He's lived through so much of it. So he can, like he said, some of them followed him to jail. Well, now you can let some of them follow you, to somewhere positive, right? And it may not be a house manager. You may be a mental health counselor, where you are now those people that are dancing when they come to the door,
Right.
right? And you're going to notice their body language and their movements because you know what you felt, because you're aware.
You said on what?
Aware.
I was telling him, I used to be on the block, like, we gotta be on point, we gotta be on point.
Always.
I wasn't
Get on the
self-aware.
slip.
I wasn't self-aware though. I wasn't open to like, what are you looking at me like that for? Because how I'm moving, how I'm dressed, how I'm acting. But I'm supposed to be on point. But yeah, I'm self-aware now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
So I want to help him bring that out. So we're going to start with some social media on Tuesday. It's gonna be me and you. That's why I put you on my schedule.
Yeah, you need to do that though. You need to start a platform and speak, because again, when you are sharing your story, you share your testimony. That's just like in business. If we don't share our testimony, then no one is going to, anyone can sell clothes or they can sell, a dream or whatever. But once you share your testimony, that's how you gain your clientele, to be honest.
Because I was engaged, right? We spoke briefly, right? And I knew a little bit about, what you told me on the phone that day when we talked. So I knew just hearing his voice that I wanted to help him. And I knew exactly who he was, and we talked about it. However, hearing him here today, the sincerity in his voice, right? I didn't sense any discernment. All I sensed was actual love and, appreciation from where he was to be where he is now.
Right.
And so only someone that where he is now, where he came from, can bring somebody else out of that darkness. Because a lot of people would think, you don't know me.
Yeah.
You don't know what my life is like.
You
You don't know what I've been through. But he can tell it because he's lived it. And that's the same thing with my brother. He's a counselor because at the end of the day, I've never been addicted to drugs. Right? I've lived it through you. But you understand people's emotions. You understand their trials and tribulations and the family reunification and getting kids back and missing your kids and, not feeling like you're enough for them and, all these the different emotions that come into it when you are coming out of addiction. Because like you said, you're coming out of it. You're not always an addict. You are only an addict of your circumstances. And that's what you're choosing to be. So if you're choosing to not be, then you're not.
They're the same way. You are the product of your environment.
Mm-hmm.
So until you get ready to change your environment, you're going to have the same results.
Exactly.
So once you get out there and you start doing, when you started changing your environment and you started doing what you need to do, what happened?
But wait a minute, y'all, he didn't tell y'all that he's in school getting his GED.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And he doesn't do it online. He goes into. You think I remember that, did you?
Yeah.
See, I remember that when we talked. Yes.
I go all the way out Owens Mills.
All the way out Owens Mills, and he go. What is it? 2 days a week?
Tuesday, Thursday.
Yeah, he go to get his GED.
Keep
So
going.
don't you know, I got my GED when I was in federal prison, right?
Yeah.
But guess what? I don't got no degree. I got a GED, but I got a God degree. And my God degree supersedes any degree in the world because guess what? People with PhDs can't even get in no HBCUs and speak. I'm speaking in all the HBCUs now with a GED, but I got a GOD. So long as you got your GED and your GOD, well, you got the GOD first. That supersedes everything. You gonna be able to, we're gonna get you in the HBCU too.
Right.
Yes.
And we only talking about from what 1 week. How you go from 1 week not knowing where you would end up at to being on a radio show
Right,
telling
I was ready
somebody
for
something?
that. You're
I sent you that
sitting
message that night. I think the reason why I sent you the message that night because somebody did me wrong, and as I found out they did me wrong, I ain't want no revenge. I wasn't angry. I'm just like, I'm gonna let you.
That's what I just
And I was like, damn, it took me 11 months.
You be
to
like,
get it.
how?
And I just sent you the message because I always see your posts. I be scrolling Facebook got the new. You can just hit this and it ain't no ads. You can look at everybody's stuff. And you be on that.
So you do have Facebook?
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
Facebook.
you gotta look at something.
Well, that's what he meant by your handle.
But this the
he
thing,
wasn't
like-
paying
But you
attention
know,
to
yeah,
that.
but his
Yeah.
handles are his personal space,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it may
yeah,
not be
everybody.
for for everybody. But I'm gonna, we're gonna talk about it. Once you get your GED, because you do have to at least have the GED to be a certified counselor. But once you get that, I'm going to
Well, he already
promise
got
you.
that.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Man,
promise you that.
I'm gonna take it on
But
the
until
slice
then,
up.
I'm gonna
definitely
mentor
blessed.
you, and you're gonna come in, and you're gonna learn, and you're gonna, walk with us and do different events in different areas, and learn that, and I'll use you to kind of, be able to bring other people in, because the reward is just so much bigger than anything any dollar anybody could ever give you when you change somebody's life.
Right.
So just knowing that my positivity and my making you feel welcome, right? God is a part of you, just a little piece of you being here today. That means more to me than anything that anybody could ever give me. Remembering your story, knowing who you are when you call my office is what I strive for.
What's the girl name? I said,
It was Jasmine.
Jasmine. That's
Jasmine.
So
That's
Giselle-
Jasmine.
I want to know who is Bonnie, because he keeps saying Bonnie, but somebody named Bonnie.
Who?
There's no Bonnie.
Somebody from that office, unless Siri just crazy. I don't know why.
Barney.
He Bonnie. He keeps saying
Well, I
Bonnie.
don't got it in no more,
But he said you might have been at your
Oh, they left your voice
at
in
the
there.
event.
We ain't got no Barney.
You don't have no Bonnie?
We got Miss Lucy.
no, I said Bonnie, like Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh.
Yeah,
No, I don't have a Barney.
We gonna find out who Bonnie is. Come on,
Well, if you listening right now,
on
Bonnie,
Saturday.
make yourself available.
On Saturday, come on.
Well,
Yes.
this is the Power 410 radio show. I hope all the listeners got a lot today. I hope that this series right here change somebody's life, inspire somebody, even help somebody to get from wherever you was that you think all hope was gone or whatever the case may be. But I hope that God has touched your life tonight, your ears, opened them, your eyes, everything. This is Power 410 radio show. This is the Be More Loyal Soul Patrol. Carter Chris White. We signing off until Saturday, y'all.
Cookout.
Come get some of
Don't
your-
beat us. Don't meet us there. Beat us there.
That's right.
Peace. This was a great show today, man. Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, it's all-
Can we get a picture with everybody real quick?
Yeah, we're gonna take a group picture, y'all.
Let's see what happened over here.
Y'all know I'm 50. It's hot here.